Hello and welcome to Consciously Awesome Live here on Soulivity TV. I'm Sheila Applegate, your host, and I am passionate about helping you to discover your brilliance and claim the life that you deserve. So for those of you who don't know me yet, this is a new show here on Soulivity TV. And I began my career with a master's degree in clinical social work and working as a child and family therapist for several years. And during that time, I was also learning metaphysics and how to connect more with the divine. So after a few years, I took that leap out of traditional therapy and became a spiritual seer, healer, and manifestation coach, which I've been doing for over 20 years now. And creating this show, Consciously Awesome, is an inspiration based on a program that I created, incorporating a lot of the things that I've learned and taught over the years to help people live from their higher consciousness, to tap into that soul creativity that is within everyone and allow that to support you in your parenting, intimate relationships, partners, careers, creativity, all of those things. So each month or each week, we're having a guest come in and share some of their brilliance, something that inspires them or that I was inspired by to help us all live from that space of higher consciousness. And today we have my dear friend and colleague, Mariesa Dranschak. Marisa is a trained and certified conscious life coach with 30 plus years experience in public education. Marisa draws on a radical new approach to life coaching. Her gentle nature encourages trust and collaboration as she guides clients to embrace more fulfilling relationships and claim new opportunities with clarity and confidence. And Marisa is also a facilitator of the Consciously Awesome program and is proficient in facilitating the conscious meditation technique, which is at the foundation of that. And it allows you to open yourself to rediscover the wonder and joy in everyday moments. Marisa supports challenges and cheers you on as you apply new tools and strategies to enhance your daily life. And she's all about empowering you to imagine, create, and live the life of your desires. So welcome, Marisa.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for asking me to join you here.
Oh, well, of course, it's just wonderful to have you here. So, Marisa, let's talk about wonder and reimagining life, right? Because I'm thinking we're at the anniversary just about of when we all shut down, at least here in New York. But just following that, we saw as the world shut down, the essence that came over, that built up after the fear, that seemed to be this wonder for life as people started letting go of their attachment to time and structure and had to recreate and reimagine life. We saw nature rebuilding itself and people connecting more with the animals around them. So let's just revisit that and reflect about that, because I think you dedicate your life to that far beyond the pandemic, right?
I do. Yes, this past year, it's just been a lot of opportunities for that creativity, that wonder to be recognized again. And in the education system, I've always tried to infuse that. I always tried to, we always say, oh, when I was a kid, I did this, that, and the other thing. And then I just stopped doing it when I grew older, or, it just fell out of style or whatever, and I just love the energy and the spark that I get each day when I go into school and I'm around the students and, just seeing them, how curious they can be and how the questions they ask and the things that they come up with. And I always try to instill that in them and to encourage it and to nurture it and just be like, don't forget this, keep this with you your whole life, keep doing this, keep asking these questions, keep creating things and everything, because it does give you so much wonder. And, I feel like in a way this past year, for a lot of people, things shifted radically. And for some people, it slowed life down a little bit and allowed them to kind of dabble back into some of that creativity and wonder that, maybe in their grown up life or their nowadays life, they didn't have time to break out the paints or, go do some crafty thing or build something with wood or whatever it is. They felt like they didn't have time for that in their life before because they got so busy doing grown-up things. And then all of a sudden the world slowed down and they were able to do that. And that's exciting to me, that people found that spark of wonder again sometimes, or doing things that they didn't even think they would do or know to do,
Yeah. And, as you talk about it, that's what was so exciting for me, as terrible as that sounds, because there were a lot of not great things, but it was an exciting, wonderful time. And I know we talked about, wow, like the world is starting to come to realize some of the things that we like to live and teach and advocate for. What are some of the elements of Consciously Awesome that maybe could help people? Because I think that wonder has been dwindling as, people got, again, used to the mundane and that stress to work and produce and all of those things. But as we move forward, what are some of the key elements that you love in Consciously Awesome that you think, or in life in general, that you would think would help people to keep reimagining our world, keep that momentum up, and for individuals and as a collective, right? Because we start as individuals, imagining the world around us. And from that space, the more of us that do it, the more brilliant the world gets.
Yeah, I think just really some of those things that I try to carry with me and just share as much as I can and everything, whether it's outright or just in doing what I do and stuff. Really, those things from Consciously Awesome are, being aware of the connections that we have, the connections to nature and how maybe nature invigorates us or inspires us, being aware of the connections that, we reached out a lot more to people during this time. People were connecting that maybe hadn't talked in years, or I just connected with my grade school friend or whatever, so moving forward with that, just because things are shifting and maybe feeling a little bit more mundane and routine now, doesn't mean that we can't make it a point and be consciously reaching out to people and reconnecting with them or advancing those connections, and sticking with some of those things that maybe you tried to dabble in and everything. Maybe you don't have as much time now, or maybe you do. Maybe you're like, listen, I got to make this a priority in my life, because I felt fabulous when I was giving myself 20 minutes a day to whatever, to meditate, to take a walk, to listen to music, to sit there and throw paint on a wall or something, like just saying, hey, that was good for me. I loved it. And I need to keep doing that. So either prioritizing some of those things or just, carrying them with you in a smaller way. Maybe it's not 20 minutes a day. Maybe it's a couple, once a week or something, or 5 minutes a day or something, but just carrying some of that wonder forward with you. Because I know in my life, that's what, when I find something that just sparks me or intrigues me or really resonates with my soul, and like, how have I not been doing this before? Did not know this. I really try to pull it forward with me and everything. And so being aware of how things resonate with you and what really makes you joyful, what makes you want to like jump out of bed that morning and trying to just get it into your day as often as possible. And recognizing, I think this past year was a great year for recognizing the accomplishments and the stretching that so many people have done in whether it's their career, their family life, their personal life. We've all had to shift things. Like, I don't think there are too many of us who could say, oh yeah, last, March 24th, this is exactly how I was back then. Like, no, we've had to shift a lot of things. So being aware of that and congratulating yourself and congratulating others when you see them doing something amazing or wonderful, and stepping outside the box to get things done, it's that goes such a long way when we can recognize that in each other and just see things from others' perspectives and stuff like that. So, all of those I think come down to that being aware, being just aware that, yeah, every moment might not be a walk in the park, but every moment is an opportunity. And we can create things, imagine things that I feel like we're also empowered now. We've all done so many things this past year that we had never thought we would do, and yet we've accomplished them to varying degrees and everything. So that's really exciting to me. And so, with Consciously Awesome, that's what I always feel like. I always feel like I'm looking ahead and, rethinking things and being curious about things and reimagining what I might do next, or what I might be able to help someone else do next, or, just promoting them and encouraging them to go out there and explore and everything. And I feel like that's really what's driven me for a number of years here, and what's driven me especially this past year. Like, all right, here we are. Let's sit in it for a minute. Let's dance with it, and let's, see what fabulous things we can come out of it with and carry into the future.
But we do a lot of imagining the vibrant new earth. That's kind of been our foundation for a lot of years now, where with conscious meditation, meditating and imagining beyond the limitations of what we think life has to be. And I think that is part of what we saw unravel, at least for a moment, that the structure that we thought were our limitations or our boundaries was set us free. And I think the imagination and meditation allows us that imagination, right? To move beyond what the world tells us to be true and open up for the potential of what our soul tells us can be true. And what are some of the beliefs that you sort of had to let go of along your way, maybe, that allowed you to live from that vibrant new earth now, even before society has chosen to do that?
Yeah. One of them is my belief just in my chosen career as a teacher, and that, over the years, it's kind of morphed, because when I became a teacher, I was like, I'm a teacher, I'm going to be in this classroom, I'm going to have my group of students, and then it morphed into stepping outside of the classroom. And, I was kind of like, no, but I'm a teacher, I can't not be teaching students. And, but then that shifted, that morphed into me still being a teacher and still working with students as much as I wanted to or could, but also working with the adults and, my colleagues, and learning from them and supporting them and sharing with them, and just seeing, yeah, you can still be a teacher even if you're teaching teachers, and then it morphed even more, becoming a life coach. And that, wait a minute, how can I share or teach people if I'm not in a school? Oh, wait, I'm a life coach. I don't need to be in a building to be a teacher, So, I mean, those are kind of like some basic thing, like that basic shifting of my belief of what a teacher might be in that. But also I think my belief about emotions and relationships has shifted also over the years, in that, before maybe so I have, a friend who's always kind of, supportive, and yet also made me doubt myself sometimes with the things that they'd say, and I'd second guess myself and kind of be like, wait a minute, are they right? Is that really what people, should I not be saying this or doing this? And I kind of doubt myself and second guess myself a little. And it would weigh on me because I felt like, okay, I need to take it into consideration and, whatnot. I don't want to offend them, or I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable with what I'm saying or doing, but then after a while, I was kind of like, you know what? I'm okay with if they don't totally resonate with what I'm saying or doing, and that's okay. We're two different people, not everybody likes strawberry ice cream or whatever, and I don't need to take that on for them. And so I just kind of became more confident in me and confident in being like, hey, I'm going to go do this tomorrow. You guys want to come? And if they're like, no, who wants to do that? I'd be like, all right, well, I'll tell you about it when I'm done with it, and now I feel like our relationship, I don't feel like this person really knows that, that it's shifted, but it has shifted because they don't have like those, I'm not feeling like I'm second guessing myself around them anymore. And I feel like they have kind of, their understanding of me has shifted somewhat also, in that they're more open and accepting of who I am also. So I feel like, my beliefs that, okay, certain relationships have to stay a certain way, or I have to take on the ownership of what they might be feeling and try to make them feel good or whatever, and in changing myself for that, that shifted over the years. So that's one thing with relationships, and just, I guess with emotions also, that would tie into the relationship part, but also just learning that your emotions, they're so fluid, and they can just move from this to this to this, and really it's up to me how long I want to hang on to something or dance with it and then let it go and move on to the next thing. So that for me was empowering also, to just kind of be like, all right, some things I do need to take personal and reflect on. And then other things, once I reflect on them, I might be like, all right, this is my part that I own, and this is not my part that I own. So let me just get rid of that, and I'll work on the part I need to or whatever, but I'm not going to carry everything now. So.
Yeah, I love, I think it's so important to embrace all emotions. And that's kind of been my thing, similar to you. When I started out, I kind of just fell into therapy from high school on to college, and then explored what I was passionate about, and I kept shifting and moving. So emotions have been a key element throughout my life. And when I was young, there's an old belief my mom used to say, oh, you're too dramatic. And really, I was passionate, and allowing myself to, oh, wait, drama's not bad. I'm doing it with passion, and I'm embracing life and all emotions. So I am a huge advocate of embracing emotions. And I think we need to do that in a world where we're picking up and feeling all kinds of them. And when we realize that there's no bad emotion there, it's not about trying to just stay in this side of the spectrum that are the good emotions. It's about finding the good in all of them, savoring the angry day, or the sad day, and just allowing yourself healthy ways to be in it and experience it, because that's what part of being alive is. That's what makes us feel alive.
Right. And, allowing ourselves to experience them all and not closing off certain ones. Because I was great at doing that too. Sometimes like closing off, I'm just not going to think about that one. That's all tucked away.
Moving into your head, right? That's a big thing that people do. We analyze, and therapists are like really good at that too. We analyze the emotion instead of experiencing it.
Yeah, but then that was also shutting me or minimizing all the other emotions I was feeling too. I wasn't able to feel everything as much as I could because I was trying not to feel this one or that one, So once I busted through that, I was like, everything's great. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad today, but it's great. I'm so frustrated in this moment, but it's great. I can really feel like the continuum of them and not just this little chunk of them.
Right. And enjoy it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how kids are. Like
exactly.
They have a temper tantrum and then they go play, Mm-hmm. It's healthy for all of us. And it's actually physically healthy for us too, not to hold all that in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. You are bright, like your eyes light up when you talk about that and talk about letting in, more of like coming more alive. Mm-hmm. Did you notice attracting different things into your life after you started doing that more?
Yeah, well, I think definitely my relationships, at work, with friends, with family, like I feel like they shifted a little bit more. And part of me is like, it's probably just, I was seeing things from a different perspective. And so everything looked different to me, but I also feel like, you'd notice, like I would notice some people, I felt like we were just connecting on different levels, or we'd have different conversations than we had prior. We might get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty or, just like, what do you think of this? And just really talking through things in a much deeper way. And that to me was really exciting. And also, when I think of my job and things like that, again, just different opportunities would come up there that I hadn't thought of for myself. I hadn't envisioned for myself, but then all of a sudden, this opportunity would come up and I would go, wow, you know what? I would have never thought to look into that or reach out for that, but it's plopped right here in my lap, whether it came through an email or somebody coming up to me saying, hey, did you ever consider doing this? And so I was kind of like, it was weird at first. I thought, why? I think I can do that. They think I can do that, then I'd be interested. But it was also exciting. And, the things that resonated with me and gave me that like butterfly excitement, I knew, okay, this is something I wouldn't have thought of, but it's something that has shown up on my doorstep, and it's exciting to me. So I'm going to try it because what's the worst that can happen, So yeah, I found different things, different opportunities coming along as far as positions at work or positions within our district, and trainings and things like that, and coaching and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to take a short little break and then we'll get more into your coaching and the adventure you've taken with Conscious Life Coaching.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right.
Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing is pleased to announce its latest charitable partner, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We ask you to join us in supporting this national treasure of memories and truth to stay alive for generations to come.
Creating this museum gives us a chance to make manifest the dreams of many generations. We call the lost dream back.
This is a milestone moment not only for the Smithsonian, but for the United States.
The goal of the museum is to make America better, provide opportunities for us to be made better by the past, and for us to move towards a future where race will always matter. They will find that those ideals are only met through sacrifice and struggle and a belief in a better day.
this place is more than a building. It is a dream come true.
History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived.
And by knowing this other story, we better understand ourselves and each other. I, too, am American.
We ask you to join us in supporting this national treasure of memories and truth to stay alive for generations to come.
To Consciously Awesome here on Soulivity TV. We are talking with conscious life coach Mariesa Dranschak here today and having a wonderful discussion about reimagining life. And Mariesa, welcome back. You have, we've been talking and you've really reimagined your own life quite a bit over the years that I've known you. As we were moving to break, we talked about exploring a little bit about you now as a conscious life coach.
Yeah. Yes, I have reimagined things, reimagined things in my life over the past however many years. And yep, coaching, and that is one of the things that, again, 15 years ago, if you asked me what I'd be thinking about doing and being part of, I would have never said that. So, but my experiences with Reiki and meditation and you and everything, it was kind of like as I was walking down that path, all these golden yellow pavers just kept being put down in front of me, just leading me to the coaching. So
perfect. And you're brilliant at it. So what are you passionate about? What drives that passion for you when you work with people?
I think it all comes from, I think a lot of things, when I think about it in this moment, a lot of things in my life come from experiences that I've had. And, becoming an educator was because I had some fabulous teachers when I was younger. And I was always just love what they did for me, how they made me feel about learning and all that. And I just wanted to pass that on to other people. And so I grew up and became a teacher. The coaching, going through the program with you and all the experiences I've had with you, I just remember coming through it going, oh my gosh, how come not everybody does this? How does not everybody know about this? This is awesome. I can't just keep this to myself, and I just really, it impacted my life so much that, again, I was just like, all right, I have to share this with other people. So let me become a coach and share it with other people. And so for me, I want to empower people to be able to take these tips, take these tools, take these shifts in themselves, create these shifts in themselves, reimagine their life, and move forward, knowing that they have the tools to be able to do this on their own. They can. I'm always here. I love supporting people, but I also, like I say when I was teaching third grade, I'm not going to be standing next to you in 20 years at the grocery store adding up your bill for you. You need to learn to do this yourself. We can help you do this yourself, learn how to do this yourself. So I love helping others and sharing with others my experiences and all the knowledge that you've put together in this program, and sharing it with others so that they can take it and move through their life confident and having tools to pull out of their tool chest, when they're having a great day, when they want to get some clarity, when they want to shift something, when they're trying to figure things out, So that's my passion about it, is empowering other people to be able to do this also.
You were talking about your own transformation, that the experiences that you were having that you wanted to share with other people. What comes to mind when you think about those back? I know it's been a lot of years since you originally to consciously and you've gone through it many, many times as a facilitator. But in your early experiences with opening to those new potentials, and maybe even going back further where you didn't even know what you could connect with, do you have any memories that pop into your mind right now that of like an aha moment where it was like, oh, now this all makes sense?
Yes, I feel like there were times that, it was out here, I was reading about it, I was learning, I was trying to make it happen and everything. And then all of a sudden it just happened and it like shook me, like, oh my gosh, it's real. Everything I thought could happen did, one of the times would be just with trying to connect with the different vibrational frequencies and that we use in our meditations and stuff, and knowing like, okay, there's going to be subtle differences. You're gonna recognize it. And I knew all that, but it wasn't until we were going through that meditation, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, Vibrant New Earth or Crystal Canyon, and I felt it in me. I felt it, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, it's real. I did feel it, and learning those like little subtleties between the frequencies and learning how to rely on them and to apply them and to use them in my daily life. And like that to me was so amazing, that something that seemed, it was this big idea out there for me. And I'm going to be able to do that. And then really doing it, and then taking it from recognizing it within myself and applying it in my daily life. Like it kind of went from this big, oh my gosh, that's so cool, to, oh, I can just like jump in and out of these frequencies as I need them during the day to support myself and support, what's going on around me or in the world and everything. And it becoming so like, oh, let me put my socks on now, like so easy and real and genuine and everyday, So that was one of the things that I thought was really cool for me, was just taking it from something that I thought only special people could do, to no, everybody can do this. And it's so easy and so applicable in your daily life,
Yeah. And as you say that, which I love the expression of that thinking that only some people can connect to these higher frequencies. And you named some of the ones we use in conscious meditation, which of course people probably haven't heard of yet, a lot of people, and that's okay, because there's plenty of time to explore. But as when you think about that now, and you think about maybe it's when somebody new you talk to who hasn't ever done anything like that before, and it's not normal to them. Whoa, how do you explain that to people who who maybe haven't ever experienced, or maybe have experienced it, but because society told them they didn't, they kind of pushed it to the side. So when you say you integrate that, what does that mean? And to someone who doesn't have any clue.
First of all, I feel like many people have experienced it and just didn't have a word for it, a label for it, and so then when I do start talking about, hey, like when you've thought of somebody and you're like, I should really call them or whatnot, and then all of a sudden, what, they call you? Holy cow, like that's part of like linking into that frequency in your everyday life, putting that intention or that thought out there, and somewhere it connects, and they bring it in. So those little things like that sometimes I go, oh, that was kind of weird, or that was spooky. I was just thinking of you, and then it happens. So manifesting that, creating that situation, allowing for it to happen, inviting it to happen, Yeah. So I think when I talk about the frequencies and things like that with people, it's really kind of, now I bring it down to, well, did you ever have something like this happen? Have you thought about this? Have you ever felt this? That's kind of like what happens here. That's an example of this. And it is real and natural and happens a lot. And we just don't always either pay attention to it or recognize it for what it is, or sometimes people don't want to recognize it for what they think it is, But
I think that's really when wonder, I think that connection, we start to see more than the mundane. And that's when we experience wonder in life. Like, and even, way a lot of years, more than 20, don't want to say how many years I've been doing this work, and it has become so normal to me. I actually get surprised sometimes when I'm out there with people that are navigating life and not feeling that source energy flow through them, not feeling supported by the universe and guided, and from the littlest thing of what to wear or where you're going to find your parking spot, to meeting somebody from across the country and coming together, because you're in the same frequency. So that's, to me, where the sustainable wonder comes, right? Because we can have moments of wonder. And because you're part of my goddess posse, we hang out together. So, I'm still get, like, sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, that of course that happens. That's the way life works. It unfolds with perfection. And then other times I still get excited, and people, friends, people like you or other ambassadors, they'll be like, Sheila, you do that every day, like, yeah, but it's still so exciting.
So it is. It's exciting. It's still exciting.
So I'm sure you're experiencing that. Are there any, without giving away any confidentiality, holding your clients confidential as you would, are there any like moments that you remember where you got to see that joy open up in a client that you were working with?
Yeah, I can think of a couple, and one of them was just starting like at the very basic, the imagination part. And I remember working with this person, and they're just like, so the activity we do where it's like, color this, but don't color it the real colors, don't color a tree brown bark and green leaves, color it whatever, and they were just kind of like, I can't do this. Like, it's green and brown, and that's what a tree is, and I'm, and I was just kind of like, all right, well, just try it. It's okay. Whatever, just try. If you had to put your hand in the crayon box with your eyes closed and just pull out a color and, color, scribble. Don't even open your eyes while you're coloring, But like, for that person, it was that very beginning of allowing them to open their imagination again. And when they did, the next time that I met with them, and because I kind of was like, okay, here's your homework. I want you to do, whatever, 3 different pictures, color them different or something. And you could see like progressively in each picture that, wow, they kind of let go a little bit here. Oh, even more. And the next time when I met with them, they were just like, I used to do this all the time when I was a kid, and I haven't done it in so long. I thought I forgot how. And oh my God, I'm like, so like remembering her. Yeah, and I was just so excited for her like digging back and just saying, you know what, I'm going to go back into my imagination. I'm going to let it take over for a little bit, and I'm just going to play in there and see what comes out, and like their excitement at the end of that, like that little homework assignment and everything was just so exciting to me, because they were actually, they were feeling so stuck and so just blah. And like their imagination was blocked. They couldn't not see what the color was supposed to be. And then all of a sudden there they were. They were able to like see things differently. And that little opening of their imagination kind of like shifted everything else that they had been worrying about and thinking about and uncertain about. It just opened up doors for them after that. So I don't know. That's
like getting out of prison, right? I mean, if you think about being so confined by a belief that society put on you that, you know, of reality. And it's the littlest thing that might be the key to unlock it. For another client, it might have been a meditation, but just that unlocking sets you so free. And then source energy, your soul takes over from there, right? And then just keeps going.
Definitely the meditations have been eye-opening for people too, because a lot of people go into those too thinking, I can't do this. So it's a belief and it's a practice, you know, like they have that belief, I can't meditate, I can't quiet my mind. They have a belief that a meditation has to be a certain format or structure, and that they just don't think they can live up to it. And you know, taking them through with the guided meditation like we do is like, that's so different for some people, just that type of meditation. And then when they are actually in that meditation and experiencing things, you know, because we say it's okay if your mind wanders, you know, you'll end up exactly where you need to be. You know, you'll experience exactly what you need to experience in this time. And I think that freedom also allows them to be like, all right, I don't have to think about my breathing every moment. I don't have to, you know, some people that works really, really well for having that structure, and other people it's, like you said, kind of constraining. So just having that belief that I can't meditate wrong, you know, and then going in, you know, and being in that meditation and just exploring it and allowing it to happen and enjoying whatever happens, and not sitting there analyzing it in that moment and everything, but just experiencing it and appreciating it. And that has opened a lot of doors, because then a lot of people are able to really use meditation for clarity, stress relief, you know, all different things, all different aspects in their life to give them guidance or support or just help them feel balanced and stuff. So, yeah.
Right. And like you were saying, it's not about just finding peace, right? It's or analyzing some message from outside of yourself. But you were talking about how you could then access those frequencies. And I think that's what you meant, right? You can all those miracles that we open up into in meditation, that you don't have to go sit and imagine and meditate and imagine and then come back into life. You can actually draw on those aspects of yourself that you read as you're in the middle of an argument or or having a wonderful day, you know. It's
driving
right
down
there
the road,
available.
Going into a meeting, you know, grocery shopping, whatever it is. Looking at the birds and everything.
And then again, that's when things start to get a little easier, right? Like if you're grocery shopping and you're in that zone, then you can zip right through and everything you need will be there. The line will open up. You know? Or maybe the line doesn't open up and you meet somebody in line, or, you know, all these different things can happen. There's no exact set way of how it should be. Well, you have a Consciously Awesome group program coming up soon, right? Do you want to tell people about that and how to reach you in case anybody's interested? We'll start with how about it. What's happening?
Right. I do have one starting up on March 18th. Thinking of the date, March 18th. Yeah. I have a new Consciously Awesome program starting up. It's a 12-week program, and it's just kind of putting together all of these little lessons and tools, and giving you a chance to dive in deep with me, with a group of people. We go through it together. It's all over technology, so, you know, internet-based, so you don't need to worry about where you are in the world. You can join in with us and everything. And each week has a different kind of topic or concept that we work on and explore together. And then there are one-on-one sessions that we have together that we talk about it and see, okay, how's this applying to your life in this moment? And what do you want to go deeper in with this? And how can we practice these tools and in strategies and concepts in your everyday life, just so that they become part of you, part of who you are from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you wake up the next morning. It's with you all day, all night. So that's starting on March 18th.
Who would be somebody that would want to do that? Like what would be happening in somebody's life, or where would they be in life that would make them want to take this program, do you think?
Yeah, I think people who are curious about sometimes people come and they're just curious about how do I connect? How do I meditate better? How can I connect with spirit? How can I find some clarity and confidence in things? So a lot of times it's curiosity. A lot of times people come who are looking, they feel like they're at some point of change in their life, whether it's something with their career or something with their relationships or something, personal or health-wise. They feel like they're kind of coming to a crossroads or a dead end with sometimes. And they're just kind of like, all right, what do I want to create for myself next? What can I even imagine happening next here? What are some of my opportunities and options that might be out there? Or what do I even want? And going in and exploring, okay, well, what really makes your soul sing here? What do you want? What do you want with your life? And then how do you create that opportunity in your life for yourself? So a lot of times that's what people come to the program with also, just that, you know what, I feel like I need to be doing something different or need to be something different a little bit. So
what are some outcomes that you've seen? So like, we talked, you kind of shared about the technical side of what they get and then why they might. What are some things that you've noticed with people who have gone through this program with you and how their life has changed or what they've gotten out of it on that level?
Yes. Well, I know, there are people who come and people with the careers that they're kind of like, I don't know if this is what I should be doing anymore, but I don't really know what else to do. And I remember one client just kind of knowing in their soul, like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And not having any idea necessarily what to do next, but they went through the program and they were just like, you know what? I really don't have a clue what I should do next, but I know it's not what I'm doing now. So I am just going to make that break. I'm going to leave that position that I'm in, and I'm going to, I'm good for a couple months here. And then I know something's going to come along. And they ended up within a couple weeks of saying, all right, I'm done with this. An opportunity came up on the other side of the country just for a few months' time. And they were like, oh my gosh, I've never been out there. I've always wanted to go there. I know nothing about running this thing that they're asking me to do, but they have faith in me and I'm going to do it, And so they ended up moving across the country for this new opportunity, which actually opened up a lot of other doors while they were out there, And so even though they were kind of like, oh, it's only a few months, at the end of those few months, they're like, oh my gosh, now I have other options that I would have never thought of before. And they were all falling in line with what was really resonating and what was really, feeding their soul. So everything just kind of fell into place after that, after having that confidence and having that clarity that I don't need to have everything exactly scripted out for my next moves. I can have the idea and the intention that it's going to be leading me where I need to go and just trusting in that. So that was one really cool thing that
I love it. I love it. So what would somebody's next step be if they're interested, not sure? How would they get in contact with you and what would be the next step?
Yeah, I have a website. It's myconsciouslifecoach.com. You can go on there if you'd like, and my email's on there. It's Marisa, Mariesa, at myconsciouslifecoach.com. You can find me there. And also, if you go on the website, there's a link to not only my email, but my Facebook page, I have my Conscious Life Coach Facebook page. So a couple different ways you can get, and there's a phone number on there also. So.
And when they get in touch with you, what would be next? Will they just sign right up, or will you chat with them? How will you take
get in touch with me if you are interested in just learning more. What I do is we call it a discovery session. So it's, just like a half hour, 45-minute chat that we'd have, just kind of seeing, hey, what are you looking for? Where are you? What made you reach out here and everything, and let's see what we can put together for you, because the program is the program, but the coaching and stuff that goes along with it, I really try and tailor it to exactly what are your needs. So we'll be going through these topics each week, but then we tailor it to where you are in this moment in your life. So let's see, how will this support you? Is this the best fit for you and everything? And so you can sign up for that also on my website. You can sign up for that free discovery session too.
Awesome. Well, it sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Sure. It's amazing.
I want to go back to that coloring page, and I think let's give that as an assignment, everybody. Oh. If you're listening and you want to take the challenge, get a coloring book and color outside. There's outside the lines, or color, like you were talking about. Color anything that is not it's not the same color as it would be. So right. If a tree trunk is usually brown, make it purple, right? Something
or polka dot or stripes.
Go crazy. Yes. Open up your inner child a little bit and see how that changes. We would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. So if you would like to reach Marisa, you've heard her information, and we'll make sure that we leave that for you as well. If you have any thoughts about today or questions where you have ideas for future topics, just write to me at Sheila at consciouslyawesome.com. And you can also learn about me at SheilaApplegate.com. So thank you very much, Marisa. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you, Soulivity. This is awesome being on here.
That's awesome. And I want to give a shout out to our producer, Brian, for all of his amazing work today. And his cat.
Yeah.
You guys don't know out there in the internet world, but his cat helped us along the way as well. And all right, everybody, we will see you next week here on Consciously Awesome. And in the meantime, be sure to check out the rest of Soulivity shows. And I especially want to let you know that coming up next on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Rachel Kaplan, it's a new show, Higher Health Now with Rachel Kaplan. You will want to catch that one this week. She is talking about why diets don't work, because if you have ever tried them, you know they don't work. Maybe they work for a little bit and then they backfire, or you kind of stick, even if it's not about losing weight, if you're trying to eat in a specific healthy way that somebody else told you, and you're really strict with that, and then you go off of it. And the thing that I like about Rachel is she is bringing a higher level to the health now, right? She's taking you to a higher level. So you'll learn that it's not your fault. And she will give you, if you go off of the wagon wheel, go off that diet, and she's going to give you some really conscious ideas on what to do instead of trying to diet or trying to keep a strict regime, so that you can really embrace a healthy diet, healthy way of living and eating. So check her out this week and keep watching us all. We'll see you next week.